What's up? Welcome back to POV Pottery. Today we're going to be making pinch pots. This one's about a nickel thick on the wall and floor. It's pretty light and thin. I'm happy with this one. Here are the 3 keys to success for a good pinch pot. Number 1, you want that even wall and floor thickness. We'll talk about how to achieve that. Number 2, you want to have continual compression of the rim and of the exterior of the pinch pot so you don't get any cracking. And of course, number 3, you got to have moisture management. You got to take care of that clay, making sure it doesn't get too dry and doesn't crack on you. If you do those 3 things, you're going to have one sweet pinch pot. Let's get started. All right, to begin your pinch pot, it does help to have another pinch pot or a little bowl of water. I always will try and take care of that number 3 point, moisture management. Okay, it's really key. You want your hand to be, or both your hands to be wet. They're moist right now, but they're not glistening. They're not shiny. See, this would be shiny, right? That's not what you're looking for. You're just looking for moist. Now, I've got a piece of clay here, and it's about the size of a plum. Plum-sized piece of clay is going to get you a 4-inch diameter pinch pot, approximately. You want to make your hands like parentheses, C's, and throw the clay back and forth between your hands. The clay that I'm using today is Sold Date 60. A wonderful clay with 60 mesh sand. I love it. It's great for throwing. It's great for hand building. The only downside is it's not very white, but outside of that, it's almost the perfect clay. So as you can see right now, I've got a fairly round ball of clay. But what you can't see, or maybe you can, there's a slight sheen to the clay. Okay, the clay is still a little bit moist, and the clay's cold. Those are important tactile cues for you to know that your clay is still moist. So you want to pay attention to those things. Then you want to balance the clay on the tip of your thumb like this, and I'm going to twist and push down on the clay and make an indentation in the clay. And you want to make sure that that indentation, the hole, is right in the center of the ball. And if it is, then you're ready to start drilling that hole a little deeper. But before I do that, before I even go deeper with that hole, I am getting the rim wet, and I'm starting my rim compression right away. That is super key. Okay, now I'm going to press in. I'm twisting my thumb into the ball, and look how deep my thumb goes into this ball of clay. It almost engulfs my entire thumb. Look at that, right? I went that deep. So already, this is how we address the first point of how do you get even wall and floor thickness. Well, you get even floor thickness by starting off thin, by pressing your thumb in deep enough on the initially. And for even wall thickness, you need to pinch and then rotate half of the width of your thumb. Pinch and rotate. Pinch and rotate. If you rotate too much, you're going to have a thin spot, you'll rotate, you'll have a thick spot, and then you'll rotate to another thin spot, right? But if you're rotating just half of the width of your thumb, you'll have an even wall. And you'll notice what I'm doing right here. One hand is pinching, the other hand is rotating, and I'm compressing the rim with my thumb. Do you see that? This is how to make a pinch pot. Ooh, look at that. Can you see that? There's a little crack already. So It's so critical. As soon as you see a crack develop, you need to smooth it out. And part of my moisture management is keeping that hand, those fingers, moist. Okay? So now that I've gone all the way around one time, pinching, rotating, pinching, rotating. Now that I've gone all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and compress that rim, and I'm even going to compress the outside of the clay ball, because you need to compress continually, and that was point number 2, continual compression of the clay, especially on the exterior, because as this expands and grows, this clay, those particles are spreading out and you're going to get cracks. So you need to prepare them ahead of time. So now I've got both thumbs. I'm going to pinch and rotate. You want thousands of small pinches. Here's what I got so far. Okay? You can see right here, it's a little on the thin side. Now watch this. This is the thumb slide technique. Put my thumb in the center, slide up to the edge, and look, I pull up that edge. Can you see that? See that? I pulled it up. I went down and I pulled it up. There's that little bump. Now I'm gonna, do you see this line? Yeah, see that line right there? Where the edge of my thumb pulled it up. Now I'm gonna do the same thing right on top of the line. I'll put my thumb right on that line and pull it up. See what I did? I made that bulge a little taller. And that clay is starting to crack immediately. So I'm gonna, tiny bit of water, instantly compress it. Continually compress. Now I've got this line, again, right there, and I'm gonna do the same. Put my thumb right on that line, lift up, and I'm pulling this clay up. I'm trying to get it pretty even. I'm just going to keep on doing that all the way around. Okay, now I've gone all the way around. You can see that my rim is undulating slightly. I don't mind that. If you do mind it, if you want a totally even rim, you can tap. But what's good is I'm going to mind my moisture management. Mind my moisture. What's good about a pinch pot, I think, is when the pinch pot demonstrates how it was made. I like ceramics that demonstrate how they are made sometimes. And the undulating lip of the pinch pot, I like it. Here's what I got so far. If you don't like it, you can cut it off. Here I go again. I'm going to go around. I'm lifting up this edge. You can see that. This edge is a little higher. I'm going to go over. Now, one of the important things is that you are always constantly feeling the wall thickness and the floor thickness. Okay? You need to assess the wall thickness and the floor thickness of your pinch pot constantly. And sometimes it's hard to know. It's hard to know how thick or how thin your pinch pot is on the floor. So what I like to do is I'll cut a pinch pot in half, and I'll look at the wall thickness and the floor thickness, and then I'll feel how thick that wall thickness is while I look at it. And that helps me to connect that visual with the tactile. Okay, so now I've done 2 rotations, And I need to do the exterior compression. Keeping this clay nice and wet, nice and soft. I'm going to compress the exterior of the clay. This is preventative. This will keep your clay from cracking as you expand it from the inside. You gotta pinch the inside of the pot, you gotta pinch the outside. Ooh, my thumb is getting tired. I'm gonna switch to my left thumb. Been doing a lot of pinch pots lately. Okay, once you get this pinch pot to about this level, you're probably good. And if you wanted to get it any thinner, you should wait until it stiffens up. If you notice, this pinch pot is a little floppy still. See how floppy that is? So it needs to stiffen up before I would go any thinner. And it'll just be much easier to deal with. So I would probably let this air dry for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then come back to it. Okay, welcome back. This pinch pot has dried up and stiffened up a little bit. See, it's not quite as floppy. It's still moist, it's still a little bit floppy, but actually I dried it out with the heat gun just a smidgen for about 30 seconds on the inside and 30 seconds on the outside. And I want to show you one more trick that I haven't shown you yet, that I have not demonstrated yet. You can burnish the outside of your pot. Now, you can use a spoon, you can use the backside of the spoon, you could use a river stone. There's many different things that you can use. But for this challenge here, I am going to try and make this pinch pot entirely with my hands only. So it's not necessary. It's an unnecessary challenge, but I want to do it. I'm going to get my pot a little bit wet so it's glistening. And then I'm going to rub it and compress it until it starts to lose its sheen. And what's great about this clay, Sold 860, is that when you get it wet and you start to rub it, it has so much ball clay in it, and those fine particles kind of come to the surface, and it makes a very fine slurry. See how it's just a velvety, it's not quite as shiny. Now is the time to try the burnish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the back of my middle finger and my index finger, and I'm going to rub and burnish smooth the clay. And what that's doing right now is it's really tightly packing those clay particles, those ball clay particles especially, on the exterior of this bowl. And I'm just using the back of my fingernail. You could totally use something else. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I just want to show you how to do it with as minimal tools as possible, in case you don't happen to have a spoon or a rock handy. You probably do. And now, yeah, you probably can't tell, but the surface of this burnished clay is just a little bit smoother, just a little bit finer than this area here where I didn't burnish it. This has got a different hand feel, and it's kind of something that you would notice on a subconscious level. You know, you might not notice it immediately unless somebody pointed it out to you, but you would notice it. So yeah, you just go around, burnish the entire exterior with whatever's handy for you. I wish you could feel how smooth that is now. It's lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? It's so smooth. And it just takes a minute to go all the way around, but what a difference it makes. It's those little things, right? The attention to detail that kind of separates the good from the very good. And the intermediate from the beginner. It's about 4.5 inches. Oh, 4 3/4 inches diameter. If you can get about 4 inches, you're gonna have an awesome pinch pot. Cool, guys. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Peace. What's up? Welcome back. All right, so I've got my pinch pot that I've been working on, and I just wanted to see how it compared to the other pinch pot I showed in the beginning. And then look at this. It fits pretty good. It's almost a perfect fit. I might pinch this a little taller so that I have a nesting bowl set. Of course, now I've got to make a third one at least. Third nesting bowl. That'd be fun. Nesting pinch pots. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.